Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in the world you are tuning in from. I have posted a poll in the live chat on YouTube, so get voting now as to who you believe will win the Australian Open final on the men's side on Monday. On Monday? No, Sunday. Just trying to catch you out there, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, get voting, and I will occasionally refer to that poll. Poll. So get voting. Yeah. Okay. So what happened today? Well, we had two men's semi-finals in action. First of all, we had Stefanos Tsitsipas, who was up against Karen Khachanov. I got up at 4:30 in the morning, as I'm sure many other Central Europeans did. I say Central European, I'm referring, of course, to this time zone. And then, of course, following that, we had Novak Djokovic up against Tommy Paul. Two very different semi-finals, four very different semi-finalists, shall we say. Where shall we start? Let's start with somebody who has been in 9 Australian Open finals before, and it will now be 10 Australian Open finals after Novak Djokovic defeated Tommy Paul in straight sets today. Let's get the result and maybe a nice little image of him up on the screen. We've got Steph there doing a smash, but we'll come to that shortly. Yes, so Novak Djokovic overcame Tommy Paul in straight sets, 7-5, 6-1, 6-2. But, ladies and gentlemen, you will not be surprised to hear it barely tells the story. First set, Novak, super nervy. First point, double fault from the 9-time Australian Open champion and 21-time Grand Slam winner. Overcame some of that scratchiness, but still, there were unforced errors galore. Over 20 in the first set alone from Novak. We all remember how he did over 500 in what? Sorry, over 500, over 100. Not quite that many. Over 100 a few years ago against Gilles Simon in a 5-set victory. I think that may have been 2018, but I might have the year wrong slightly there. But yes, and today, if that had gone 5 sets, he was on course for it because he was so scratchy in those first few games. And yet, his opponent, Tommy Paul, feeling the pressure of the occasion, his first ever Grand Slam semi-final, he was also a bit scratchy and also producing a few too many unforced errors. And guess what? After just a few games, Tommy found himself already 5 games to 1 down. Get your comments and thoughts in the live chat, both on this match but also the other semi-final. I will try and address them at some point, but most probably at the end of the show in around about 15, 20 minutes from now. Okay, so Novak leading 5-1. Looking good, right? He's going to win the first set easily. Tommy Paul did up his game, and Novak did not. Continued to make these unforced errors, all of which, as I say, contributing to over 20 in the first set alone. Tommy breaks back, not just once, but twice. And suddenly we're at 5 games all, and you're thinking, wow, game on. There was including, by the way, one of those breaks, I think at 30-40, a rally of about 30 shots when you're thinking, Novak's going into lockdown mode here. He has got this. He's going to revert to things, etc., etc. But no, that did not turn out to be the case. And in fact, it was Tommy Paul who was excellent during this rally. Low net clearance, low margin of error, switching up the play, getting close to the line. Novak was doing the same, but Tommy Paul was going toe to toe with him. However, from 14 games until the end of the match, that was the last time that Tommy and Novak were on an even keel, so to speak, because Novak went on to win 14 of the next 17 games. He breaks at 6-5 to seal the set. He then races into a 3-love lead at the beginning of the second set, and it was really game, set, and match from that moment onwards. Tommy never got a look in. Novak did raise his level. Tommy maybe will go on to regret how he performed in that first set, particularly in those first 6 games, because that first set was there for the taking. I don't think the outcome would have been any different, but we may have been entertained with a competitive match for an hour or so longer had Tommy managed to hold on and take that first set one way or another. From that moment onwards, Novak never looked back and now goes through to his 10th Australian Open final, and he has won all 9 of his previous visits to that final in Melbourne. I think it's something like 27 consecutive matches as well that he's won down under. He's only lost once since the beginning of June, and I'm not counting the Felix defeat at the Laver Cup, but he's only lost once in a competitive match since then. And do you know who that was against? Holger Rune. And he was up a break in the third set in that match too. Does anybody remember who he beat in the semi-finals at Paris, Bercy? Stefanos Tsitsipas. And Senor Tsitsipas, and I have no idea how to say that in Greek, will be his opponent on Sunday. I think many people, when we saw the draw come out, when we saw Novak on one side and we saw Steph on the other, we saw how Steph had been playing in recent weeks through the exhibitions, and maybe also saw the draw opening up a bit for him. Maybe Daniel Medvedev might pose a problem, maybe Sebi Korda even. But once those guys are out and you're faced with Karen Khachanov in the semi-final, room for optimism at least, and that optimism was justified. Steph winning in 4 sets. However, it does not do justice to what happened. Why does it not do justice? 4 sets doesn't tell the whole story. Seems reasonably comfortable. I was speaking to Jamie about this on the show this morning. He hadn't seen the match. I had. And I told him, Jamie, it was anything but comfortable. Steph winning the first 2 sets. How did it pan out? First set, 4 breaks of serve. Steph was serving for the first set. And that is going to become a recurrent theme, ladies and gentlemen. Steph was serving for the first set. Karen breaks back. And they go into a first set tiebreaker. Steph, though, regains his composure. Another recurrent theme, by the way. And wins that first set in a tiebreaker for the cost of just 2 points. Okay, Steph manages to seal the first set, snatches the second set with a break. But by the way, let me tell you now, Steph's level was on a much higher plane compared to his quarterfinal against Lehecka. Lehecka was not a great performance from Steph. But yesterday, today, I'm not sure what day it was, Steph was on another level, and the absolute level that he's going to need to reproduce in the final should he stand a chance of beating Novak Djokovic. Listen, what happened in the third set, though? Another break of serve to the Greek, and he is serving for the match at 5-3. However, Steph gets tight. The finish line is in sight. After a couple of very tentative points that he was not the aggressor on because he just wanted to get that ball in and wait for Karen to make a mistake. And Karen is not going to make a mistake, even producing a pretty good winner as well that clipped the line on one occasion. And then at 30-40, facing break point, this happened. A Stefanos Tsitsipas smash. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, he puts this away in his sleep 99 times out of 100. I think I would put this away as well. Maybe not in my sleep. I'd probably have to have my eyes open. But let me tell you this. He hits it really, really badly. And it's the tension, the knowledge that you are there. You can taste that final. But he misses. We go into a tiebreaker. He ekes out a 2-point advantage. He's now at match point. 2 match points, actually. Again, the tightness, the tension returns to the Greek. He's hitting that ball over the net, but he's hitting it so short. And on one occasion, again, Karen Khachanov gobbles it up for breakfast with an excellent forehand winner that again just clips that line. He saves 1 match point. He saves another. And eventually we go into a 4th set. And we're starting to think of other people who have relinquished 2-set leads. However, hats off to Steph, as I suggest here in this tweet, for recovering his composure, regaining the momentum, racing into a three games to love lead in that fourth set. When he's serving for it, by the way, the memories come flooding back, but this time he's clutch. He goes into a 40-love lead and doesn't look back and manages to seal his spot in the Australian Open final, which will be live on Talking Tennis on Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, more or less in the morning. We'll start bringing you live coverage of that match. So get voting on YouTube. In addition, we'll also be bringing you the women's final, of course, which will be on tomorrow. Nick will certainly be with us. I may join too. I don't really know what the lineup will be, but make sure you click that like button on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and even become a member so you can get to enjoy extra benefits as well as support the channel. Let me know how you see the women's final going as well. If you are watching these videos retrospectively, get in the comments below. Give me your thoughts, either on anything that's happened today, but also the upcoming finals on both sides of the draw. Well, not really. Both sides, WTA, ATP. You know where I'm going with this. So yeah, and get voting as well in this poll. I've just got a few more seconds before we bring this very brief episode. I've already gone into quite a bit of detail as to how I see that women's final going. I spoke about that in yesterday's episode of the 20 minutes. So make sure you check that out. Hi, Dominic. That's great to have you on board. You're wondering if Philippoussis said something to Tsitsipas that helped gather himself. Maybe. Interestingly, by the way, during Steph's on-court speech at the end, he was asked, what does Philippoussis bring to the team? And Steph said, sense of humor. And during this speech that Steph was giving, Philippoussis did not look amused. He did not show any jovial senses that suggested that he was bringing laughs and giggles to the team. Seemed to be very deadpan, Ivan Lendl-esque. But yeah, anyway, those of you tuning in, I am bringing this episode to a close. So maybe you want to go back to the beginning from about 15 minutes ago and watch what we've had to say about the two matches. As I say, I've already been into quite a bit of detail regarding the women's final. I did that in yesterday's episode, so make sure you check that out. It'll be live on the channel tomorrow morning, so come and join us for that. I will go into a little bit more detail regarding the men's final in tomorrow's episode of the 20 minutes, so look out for that. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, become a member and get exclusive content as well as many other benefits. D, great to have you on board today. We really appreciate your support during the Australian Open. It's managed to give us that bit of energy we've needed at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, as it has often been, as we've been giving you the content, and we have just 48 hours to go. So that brings us to the end of today's episode. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, where I'll be reviewing the final between the women, but also giving us preview to the men's final. Everybody, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.